Hey folks, welcome back to Lawrence Wargaming. Tonight we're going to take a look at the Sisters for the first time in 10th edition and their index. A little bit of a delay. We're going to get a points update and an indirect fire update, which didn't have a huge effect on the Sisters, although they did affect one of our best units in this edition, the Exorcist, which was really not fantastic. In 9th edition, it was good in 8th, kind of take a hit in 9th, and was just not that worth it sharing slots with Retributors. Now it's back a little bit, and it just took a points hit. But yeah, it is May. On that, I feel like the Sisters are probably potentially a gatekeeper army, one that will consistently perform, but won't consistently bring home tournament wins if you're a tournament player. That said, I don't think that they are in the dire straits of some other armies, and I'll still be enjoying playing them very much. So, excuse me, let's dive right in and take a look. Okay, so first up, Acts of Faith. This is the Miracle Die, which is not all that different from previous editions. You gain a Miracle Die at the start of each turn, and every time an Adepta Sororitas unit from your army is destroyed. You roll it, you can't change, you roll the die and it's a pre-roll die of that value. Keep it to the side, you can't change it unless there's a specific rule that allows you to. You get, every time you use a unit and at the start of every turn, and any, I suppose if there's any rules that give it to you at another time. Now, this is not as prolific as they were in some other cases, but still a pretty decent rule. The problem is that there's just not going to be a huge number, and while this would kind of tend to lend itself to sacrificial units to get Miracle Dice, the problem is with the units being locked in squad sizes, that is not that easy to do. There's no 5-member sister squads as throwaway units, so Miracle Die are a more scarce resource than the Eldari Fate Dice, which are the closest equivalent. Definitely a weaker overall mechanic. Also, ones are no longer useful except as something you could sacrifice or throw away, or to improve for another value. You can do them on advances, battle shocks, charge rolls, damage rolls, hit rolls, saving throws, and wound rolls. So all the basic rolls. And if you were doing a 2d6 roll for battle shock or a charge, you can only use one Miracle Die. Hallowed Martyrs. This is your detachment rule. Now, I didn't cover this in the army rule because it's a detachment rule, not an army rule. But this is where you get +1 to hit if your unit's below its starting strength, and +1 to wound if it's below half strength. And if you're talking about a character, it's based on the number of wounds. So this is pretty good. This is very, very much an allusion to the Order of Our Martyred Lady subfaction rules. Clearly in the vein of that, I hope that there are other detachments available when the Codex comes out, because I'm not a huge fan of this, since you have to lose models for it to be useful. But it does mean while you're on the way to losing the unit and getting the Miracle Die that you're getting some additional value out of it. Now, it's really hard to get the value of +1 to wound on the units where it would be most useful, because the problem is Sisters are just not that durable. You're only toughness 3, and they're only 1 each, so they still very much have a tendency to just straight die. So while you might spend some time with +1 to hit and get some use out of it, by the time you're down to +1, you usually don't have that many models left anyhow. But it could definitely give you a key boost. Where I think it's more useful is on some of your bigger, more powerful monsters, or not monsters, but models, who can maybe stick around a little bit at below starting wounds, or below half starting wounds. So there's a little bit of anti-synergy going on in the Sisters army, and that you can actively want to lose models in order to make the ones you have better, and that's hard to do. The Sisters aren't quite cheap enough to really make that work, and I think that's probably the thing holding them back right now. Now, stratagems, we've got Divine Intervention. This basically allows you to bring back a character that was just destroyed. On a character, you can have them stand back up. You can't do this to St. Celestine because she has her own rule for that. With from 1 to 3 wounds based on the number of Miracle Dice you discard. So this is one use for 1s and 2s to get back up a character. It's only 1 CP, so that's handy. Particularly if you get one more fight phase or something out of Morphin Ball, that's pretty good. You can maybe use it on Ephrail Stern, potentially even a Kenneth. Light of the Emperor. Okay. 1 unit below starting strength. Can ignore all modifiers to characteristics. Definitely handy if you have something debuffing a unit. Especially if it's only taken like maybe a single casualty, so I had one chipped off of it. That could be very useful to avoid a debuff. Holy Rage. 1 Adepta Sororitas not selected fight. +1 to wounded melee. This one is, I think this one's the winner here. This is the best one. +1 to wound is very, very valuable. A lot of the things that would really tear through things in the older editions, they just don't have the strength value they used to, and are struggling to wound the high toughness vehicles and monsters. This one's potentially, this is taking multi-meltas from wounding a lot of targets on 5s or 4s down to wounding on 4s or 3s. Or, oh wait, no, sorry, fight phase. Not multi-meltas. What am I talking about? This is potentially pretty great on Repentia, who are kind of, I believe, stuck at strength 6 now. What else we got? Okay, Spirit of the Martyr. This is yet more losing models to do stuff. Well, not necessarily. All you have to do is be targeted. This is 2 CP. This can basically, you can fight back in the fight phase. So if your melee units get charged and wiped out, you can pay 2 CP and still have them hit back. That's pretty good. So that's more. Yeah, you have to lose stuff for it to be useful, but at least you can strike back in death. It makes it a little more dangerous to charge, especially your Pentia. I'd probably use that for Rejoice the Fallen. Your opponent's shooting phase just after results. This is basically, you can take an extra shot. This is the other one that I think is really good. You can shoot back at something that shot you, so you can get basically an extra shooting phase for that unit for 1 CP. And Suffering and Sacrifice. This allows you basically to tank. It's like a taunt. You force the opponent to target you with melee attacks. I don't see a whole lot of use for that. It's not like you have units that are really that resistant. I suppose you could use this for a unit that was down to 1 or 2 models if you didn't have a character to force them to waste attacks on you. But see, the thing is, if one unit wipes you out, then the other ones they are no longer in range of you because you're dead. So potentially not that useful. So there's really 2 great stratagems here, I think. Spirit of the Martyr and I'm sorry, Rejoice the Fallen is probably, I think, a little bit better. Spirit of the Martyr is probably 3rd, and then Holy Rage is by far the winner. So I'd say in order, number 3, Spirit of the Martyr, number 2, Rejoice the Fallen, and number 1, Holy Rage. Okay. Oh. Happened there. So I think their zoom change all of a sudden. Okay. Enhancements. The enhancements, I think, are significantly better than the previous stuff. Okay. Saintly Example. You can put this on a character when they destroy, you gain an additional D3 Miracle Dice. That's on top of the one you already get. So that could be a one-time surge of Miracle Dice. Be useful on a low points character that you expect to Xenia. Blade of Saint Honor. This is pretty great. +1 strength, attacks, and damage. And if they're below starting wounds, add 2. So that could be vicious on a Canoness or something like that with a Blessed Blade. Maybe even a Chainsword. It really could be good. Use of Faith. Into your command phase, you can reroll a Miracle Die and return it. So this is the way to get rid of your 1s. Turn to something better. And if the bear has lost 1 or more wounds or is used below half strength, you can reroll up to 3 Miracle Dice that way. So that's very, very handy. This is very good also. Mental Feel. I'm so glad to see this thing back. This thing is awesome. You can, each time an attack is on the bear, challenge, use the damage cure, reduce the X to the 1. So you take this. I think ideally my preferred 3 would be Blade of St. Honor, Use of Faith, and Mental Ophelia. probably in that order because the blame sale was a little bit cheaper. But those would be my top three. I think like two canonesses, one with the blade, one with the mantle, and then one more character with the litanies of faith. If you need the points, maybe drop the litanies for the saintly example. Or if you just aren't that worried about using your characters for melee, maybe drop the blade and take the saintly litanies and the mantle. But this can be something very, very, very tanky right here. That make you very frustrating to move. That's a huge durability buff for a sister's character. Okay, getting down to the units. Now, we're going to probably not go through everything tonight. I think I will hit the vehicles in a later one. We're going to try to hit the characters tonight and in the infantry. See how things go. So, Morven Vol, movement 8, test 6, save 2, wounds 8, leadership 6, objective control 2. Fidelis, her cannon, her heavy bolter, still has 3 attacks, ballistic skill 2 up, strength 6 AP minus 1 damage 2, so it's a glowed up, it's a slightly stronger heavy bolter. And the Paragon missile launcher, also 36-inch range, 2 attacks or 2d6 attacks, strengths 9 and 4, AP minus 2 and 0 respectively, d6 or minus 1. So that's still pretty decent. Strength 9 longer range missile is very handy. One of the few really reach out their weapons that the sisters have. The Lance of Illumination. Attacks 5 or 10 with the sweep. It's, of course, to have strength 8 or strength 5 if you minus 2 or minus 1 damage 3 or damage 1. Now, this seems a little bit weak until you realize, okay, now she no longer has her fight twice. What she can do, however, is this. Oh, Fidelis has sustained hits. I forgot about that. So about 50% of the time you're going to get extra hit. But once per battle, you can add 3 attacks to Fidelis and to the Lance of Illumination. And also, when she's healing a unit, each time a model in that unit makes an attack roll, you can roll the hit roll and you can roll the wound roll. Okay, that means because she doesn't have independent operators, so she's always going to be leading it. Now, once you lose your last war suit, she's no longer leading a unit. You kind of lose this. But as long as she has at least one war suit, that's the only kind of units she can lead. You reroll all her hits and wounds. So these profiles are significantly more dangerous than they might initially seem. In particular, if you have a 6, reroll hits and wounds on your priorist missiles. Starting has a very high chance of getting wound through, and you can automatic damage 6. So that she can make a real sniper kill with that. She has to be the warlord if she's in there, and she can attach to Paragon Warsuits. Now I'm going to skip ahead here to Paragon Warsuits because she has to lead them. A few Battle Sister Squad, Novitates, New Magic Fire. These are more characters, Celestial Sacrosancts, Hospital Art. I'm not quite. Oh, here we go. I'm really not quite sure how they picked the order of these. So the Paragon Horse is the only thing she can lead. Okay, so what do we got now? Well, they're movement 8, toughness 6, so that's pretty good. Light vehicle toughness, 2 up save, and they have a 4 up invul now, so they are tougher than these 4 wounds. Leadership check, objective control 2. So these things are sturdy. Each have a bolt pistol, of course, heavy bolters, Ministorum flamers, or multi-meltas. I won't go over these again, as I went over these on a lot of the previous stuff, and I think people are pretty familiar with it now. Only to just remind people that the Ministorum heavy flamer is strength 6, not 5. I am not sure what the play used to be, of course, the multi-meltas. Now, I had 1 heavy flamer. I always did, because of the fact that you had the Holy Trinity. And you could have Paragon Storm Bolters and 2 multi-meltas heavy flamer, and then fire all 3 weapon types of something and use that stratagem. But the Holy Trinity stratagem is gone now, so I might just treat the heavy flamer as a multi-melta. I don't feel too bad about doing that because the multi-heavy flamers are so similar just to begin with. Or I might treat the multi-meltas as heavy flamers because this is actually a pretty decent profile. Strength 6 at AP minus 1. We're auto hitting. That's pretty good. On the other hand, Mormon Ball's leading them. They're getting full rerolls on all 6 multi-melta shots. That's strong. Weapons. The Warblade versus the Warbase. The Warblade is 4 attacks at weapon skill 3, strength 6, AP minus 2, damage 2, so very good against general purpose targets. Especially, again, you're being led. You're rerolling. Now, the Warmace, though, 3 attacks, weapon skill 4, strength 12, AP minus 1, damage 3. I'd say these are about equal. You could probably go with either one. If you don't have Morphin Ball, probably do want the swords. I think that you're going to find yourself disappointed with the blades without the rerolls. They can shoot and charge in the same turn they fill back. These are overall, I'd say they're a little better. Now, they are expensive. It's 240 points for the squad, plus 135 for Morphin Ball, and you kind of have to take them because she's not a lone operative. I believe that's how it works. I'm not sure if you can take her and then not have her lead if you don't take any more suits, but you're looking at 375 points overall. So in a 2,000 point game, that's almost 20% of your army. So think long and hard about whether or not you want to use that combo, but I think it's definitely going to be better than in the previous game. No real changes to the war gear. Right now mine are 2 swords and 1 mace, just because I want to have a little bit of each. I even get another squad. Now, one other thing with them is you still are locked with squad of exactly 3. There's no 3 or 6 business like there is with everything else. So you're still with locked squad size. So that's really, you're very inflexible with how you're going to use these. I don't know if they're really worth using without Vol, though. I think that she's too much of a force multiplier. But I do think the whole package is very, very, very eligible for rapid ingress. I would definitely give that a lot of thought. Okay, moving on. Oops, a little too far. Let's see, more involved. Okay, now the Canonist, your basic army commander. I've liked Canonisses. I've felt like in 9th edition they were just a really good combination of points. A really efficient unit. 6-inch move, toughness 3s. They've gone down to 4 wounds. Their only leadership 7. Does not grant projectile control 1. They have a bolt pistol, and by default they come with a bolt pistol and chainsword. Now, they are still rather confusing to equip. So they still have the brazier. Now they still have a bolt pistol. The brazier of holy fire ignores cover 1-shot torps. This is a weapon you can fire once. D6 attacks, strikes. It's basically a Ministorm Heavy Flamer with 2 damage, which is good. You can fire once per battle. With free war gear, sure, why not? I'd use it. Contemptor Bulk got Anti-Psyker 2 up, devastating wounds, precision, rapid fire minus 1. You can snipe the heck out of a sniper with this. Other than that, it's not a particularly impressive profile. Attacks 1, ballistic skills 2 up, so it does hit pretty well. Strength 4, damage 1. But if you're using it against a Psyker, there's potential there. It's also the longest range option she has. And Inferno Pistols is a Melta 2 pistol. Now, damage on this has gone down to D3. Strength remains at 8. It's not as good as a Malto gun or a multi-Melta. It's 1 less strength. Don't know if the Inferno Pistols really play. Although it does have the potential to kill a Terminator in 1 shot. But it'll only do that 1/3 of the time it actually gets a hit and a wound. So not that frequently. I think the Plasma Pistol is a little bit better. 12-inch, attacks 1, ballistic skill 2, strength 7, AP minus 1, damage 2, and the Hazardous Pistol. This is a little bit more, I think, more worthwhile now. The supercharging. I think the Plasma Pistol is probably the way to go now. Over the Inferno Pistol or the Bolt Pistol most of the time. 3 weapons. So you've got the Blessed Blade, attacks 3, strength 6, AP minus 2, damage 2. The Chainsword is attacks 5, strength 6, strength 3, AP 0. And the power weapons is split between 4 attacks, it's strength 4, AP minus 2, damage 1. Now, I can see a case for any of these. None of them have any special abilities over here. But I think that most of the time, the Blessed Blade is your best pick with free War Gear. If we start getting points on War Gear, that may change. But right now, I think the Blessed Blade is the way to go. If not, maybe the Power Weapon if you want to use the Rod of Office. You still have the Null Rod around. Feel no pain 4-up for the unit against psychic attacks. The Rod of Office is definitely useful every time you select it as a target stratagem. 4+ you get 1 CP. That's very, very handy. If you have them leading a brick unit that you're going to use lots of stratagems with. Once per battle, they can get a 2-up invuln for a phase. This is potentially great to keep her alive through some firestorm, or even to tank for a unit if you have a cheap one. Well, not a cheap one without even a cheap one would be one without an enhancement. You could use it to take the heat off the rest of the unit, keep them alive, and you can roll hit rolls. That's very handy if you want to supercharge the plasma pistol, because now she has her own aura. So that's a big improvement for her too. Now, unfortunately, her gear selection is they're still making it less complicated, but it is still one of the most complicated units to select War Gear for some reason. So you can replace the bolt pistol with a contender bolt gun, inferno pistol, or plasma pistol. Okay, fine. The chainsword can be replaced with Blessed Blade or power up. Okay, fine. If you have a chainsword, you can have a brazier of holy fire or a null rod. And if you have a plasma pistol and a power weapon, you can have a Rod of Office. Now, why these items need to be tied to what weapons are being carried is completely beyond me. I don't know why that would be an issue at all. But it's still like that, where you can only get the extra goodies if you are using specific weapons. So basically the rule is Blessed Blade, no special stuff. Power Sword or Power Weapon. Now you can give her an axe or mace. You can give her a lightning claw if you wanted to and call it a power weapon. You can use the Rod of Office as long as you have a plasma pistol. You can have a power weapon and an inferno pistol for some reason, or a power weapon and a bolt pistol. And if you have a chainsword, regardless of what gun you can have one of the other 2 items. And she can lead a battle sister squad to Celestial Sacrosancts. Of note, and I will note this at this point, notice that it is the Celestian squads, regular Celestian squads that are like the buffed up Battle Sister squad are gone. They do not exist anymore. The only kind of Celestians now you have are the Sacrosancts. I am slightly disappointed by this because I always liked the Celestian squads, but they were kind of neither fish nor fowl. They boosted the Battle Sister squad characteristics mostly in areas that the Sacrosancts were better at anyhow. So I kind of understand why that happened. No, well, nonetheless, I think the Candace is still going to be a very solid pick. And just putting her in any unit, I would take 3 of these in lots of army, and just to keep hit rerolls coming on certain units. Unfortunately, you can't put her with Dominions or Retributors, but you can get a lot of value on a Battle Sister Squad or Sacrosancts. Okay, next up, the Palatine. Baby Candace. She goes down to 3 wounds. She is significantly less common. She has the Palatine Blade. 4 attacks, weapon skill 2-up, strength 4, AP minus 2, damage 2, which, if we compare it to the Canonesses, it's basically a damage 2 version of the power weapon. And then there's no surprises in the guns. I don't know why you take her with anything but the plasma pistol. I have mine modeled with a plasma pistol. Faith Fury, she hands out lethal hits to a unit. And you can give her Rapturous Blows, which was one of the blessings in the old version. You can discard a miracle die every time. Each time a melee attack scores a wound, so successfully wounds the target, whether they save or not, they take immortal wounds. That's very, very handy. That's another good way to get rid of miracle dice that are 1s or 2s, not very useful. Yeah, she has a 4 pivot now. Okay. She can lead battles. She, unlike the Canonist can lead Dominion squads and Sisters Novitate squads in addition to Celestial Sacrosancts and Battle Sister squads. So there's your obvious choice right there for your Dominions. And this would be great in a Stormbolter or a Flamer one, where you're getting lethal hits. Well, Flamer one, no, you're not lethal hit. You don't want a Flamer one or a Flamer because the Flamer doesn't roll to hit, so you would never get that. But Stormbolters or Meltaguns is what I should say. You're going to get lethal hits. That can make those Meltaguns very, very dangerous to a tank. Next up, Junta Sororita. Now, I may actually get one because she is no longer faction locked. I can have a Sisters of the Silver Chalice army that has a strangely resembling Junta Sororita Canonist Superior. I wonder why that would be. Okay. Move 6, toughness 4, from a Rotor Chariot, Pulpit, 6, 2, Control 2. Now she has the twin linked version of the Mistborn Heavy Flamer underneath her, so rerolling wounds. I think that's great on a weapon that doesn't need to roll to hit in the first place. So you're going to get a lot of wounds through. Now just remember, you can't use Miracle Dice on number of shots. And if they're only damage once. So they do have a weakness there that you might roll very low on the number of shots, and you can't really easily improve that the way you can with the others, but still not bad. East of Castigation, attacks 4, opens go to strength 6, AP minus 2 damage 2. So this is basically the power weapon, but boosted up to strength 6. A bit mediocre, but let's see what we've got over on the abilities. While she's leading a unit, she gives that unit -1 to be hit. So when you're shooting at whatever unit she's leading, you're -1 to hit them. And you gain additional command point every phase when she's on the battlefield to start a command phase. So definitely some utility there. She, like a Canonist, Battle Sister Squad or Sacrosancts. I'm probably going to get her because the model is cool. I could definitely see some utility here, but she is not. She is not there to jack the unit so much as she is to jack the army up. She'll help the unit survive a little bit better. If you wanted to make a extra tanky brick of Sacrosancts, very, very handy because she can make them be hit less easily, in addition to, say, a Hospitaller, giving them a little durability boost. But she's not boosting their offense at all, so I don't know about her. She'll be on a back burner to eventually get one, but not a high priority for me. Let's move on. Missionary. Okay, so now we're getting into the Ministorum unit, first one. Now, weirdly, the Missionary is now fewer points than the Preacher. Well, let's take a look here. The Missionary is 35 points, whereas the Preacher is 45 points, which is weird because the Missionary is traditionally above the Preacher. He's a 3 wound toughness 3 character, still has his 4 up invuln save. Notice he doesn't even have. Oh, he has a 6 up save up here, which is, of course, no use for him because he has a 4 up invuln. Okay. He has an auto. What does he start with? Before I say something done, he can either start. Okay, he has a power weapon and a holy pistol. Okay, the holy pistol's kind of new, so that's basically a bolt pistol with more shots. It's 3 shots at strength 4 AP 0. You can get an auto gun and a chainsword instead. I don't know why you would. Well, you get an auto gun and a chainsword, or a Ministorum shotgun and a chainsword. I don't know why you would. The shotgun is assault, which is okay, but you don't care that much about that shooting. I'd stick with the holy pistol with more shots. Auto gun and rapid fire 1 makes it. Yeah, it's just longer ranged. I don't know why you'd go with anything but the pistol. The chainsword gives 1 more attack at strength 3 versus the power weapon is both strength 4 AP minus 2 damage 1, and he gets 3 attacks. So I don't know why. Now, what this guy has is he gives sustained hits out, so exploding 6s. That's very handy. For 35 points, this is a lot more this is a lot more worth it. I think this is the stuff right here, where as opposed to say Judith Everett is 100 points. I don't think she's worth it. But and what's a Canoness worth? 60 points. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Palatine. The Palatine is 55 points, so 35 points, quite competitive. And you can re-roll the missionaries hit rolls, his own hit rolls, not his whole units, but he gives the rest of the units its distinct hits one, so that's good. I think the missionary's a winner. Definitely will be playing mine. And what can he lead? He can lead Battle Sisters, Crusaders, or Sisters Novitates. I think I would probably put this guy on the Sisters Novitate. That's a good choice. You can go with them. And they already get their superior. Yeah, I think he's a winner with Novitates. You could put them with Battle Sisters too, but you're not going to be using them in melee, so I would definitely put them there. I don't own any Crusaders, and this Silver Chalice does not use Argo Flagellant, so I won't own any of those. So I don't see him getting with any of the other ones anytime soon. But I do have a Novitate squad that needs to see the table and not get shot off the table right away, and he'll probably be in there. Okay, St. Celestine, classic. Alright, St. Celestine is now, she's still toughness moves 12, toughness 3, save 2 up, but she's down to 5 wounds. Leadership 7, objective control 1, and she has her 2 buddies who are similar, except that they're 2 wounds. Bolt pistols for the 2 buddies, they hit on a 3 up. Strength 4, AP 0, nothing. And the Ardent Blade basically is a Minastorm Heavy Flamer with 1 additional point of AP. So good, quite good. Not any long range shooting, but that Torrent weapon with Strength 6 AP minus 2 is nothing to complain about. They have power weapons, 3 attacks, AP, Strength 4 AP minus 2, damage 1. No surprise. Ardent Blade is 5 attacks. It hits on 2 up, 3. Don't forget that her escorts are 3 up to hit with both melee and range, where she is 2 up. And Strength 6, AP minus 3, damage 2. So pops a Marine with every time it gets through the save there. They all have Deep Strike, of course. As long as Celestine is alive, she gets one of her escorts back every command phase. She has the Feel No Pain 4 up, as long as there are 1 or more Gemini Superior alive. Now, this is a little bit confused. See, this is not... So if you lose Celestine, you can't resurrect them. But if you are taking hits on her, then you don't get the Feel No Pain 4 up. So that's tricky. I think that the play here is to lose one of the Gemini and then go to Celestine, maybe. But I don't think you can switch back and forth within a unit on allocating moves. I need to check the rule on that. Because this is a very anti-synergistic thing here. And she still has a thing where she resurrects herself once per battle on a 2-up. Okay. So maybe you tank with her the first time, and then you switch to tanking with the tanking with the Gemini after that. That might be the play. A little overly complicated there. A lot of, you have to think carefully about what you're going to do. Okay. No row option. No row options here, and she can lead Seraphim or Zephyr. Now that's something that's a little bit. What does she do for her unit? She doesn't do anything for her unit really. She can, however, go with these units and use them to tank for her, which is not bad. I would put her in a big pack of Zephyr and try to get the whole thing into melee. The Triumph. Oh boy, I can't read this one. Okay. Move at 6, toughness 3 still. Save 3 up, wounds 18. Yes, 18 wounds still. Leadership 6, objective control 6, invulnerable save 4 up. And bolt pistols, it has 6 of them. They are otherwise standard, so you get 6 shots. And relic weapons. It hits 18 attacks with their relic weapons. Strength 5, AP minus 2 damage 1. This is really a pretty normal session. Also, note that these attacks go down to half when you have only 5 wounds remaining. Start of the battle round, you can select 2 of these abilities over here. So what do we got? Okay. Fiery Heart. Sororitas, this is what Margaret Lady was called before they changed their name. Adepta Sororitas model unit is within 6 inches of this model. If that unit is destroyed, you get automatic 6 as the miracle die. Okay. I suppose that's useful if you know you're gonna. And remember, this is battle round, so you have to select one's useful in both yours and your opponent's turn. Okay, Sacred Rose boosts leadership by 1. Ebon Chalice, any number of acts of faith per phase instead of only 1. Potentially useful. If you have a combo you can set up with multiple 6s, potentially very good. Ardent Shroud, +1 attacks to rapid fire weapons. That could be great. Maybe some minions with Stormbolters. Valorous Heart, 6 up, feel no pain. Good, pretty good. And Bloody Rose, 6 inches as well, gets lethal hits. Yeah, very good. Auto wounding. This, I would put this as near as possible to Sacrosanct. Maybe go with the Bloody Rose and either the Ardent Shroud or the Valorous Heart. Probably the Valorous Heart. These two, the Valorous Heart and Bloody Rose, would be my top choices. Maybe Sacred Rose if we're dealing with something that's really pressing the Battle Shock button hard. There are no warrior options. Yeah. We can only be attached to a Battle Sister squad, but a lot of these things are auras within 6 inches. So you can have with a Battle Sister squad and then have your Sacrosancts right in front of it. Also, it is a gigantic pain in the butt to paint. I don't own one. I don't really plan on getting one soon because although it does seem to be good in its own way, it seems like a model that I'm going to end up not actually using. There's always going to be something else I'd rather use, so I don't know if this one is a winner just yet. It looked very promising at first, and now it's kind of looking a little. Okay, next up, the Demonifuge, formerly Ephraim Conical. Well, they're still called that, but the whole unit is called the Demonifuge. Both movement 8, T3, saves 3 up for her, 6 up for him, 5 wounds for her, 3 for him. I think he lost a wound. I can't remember if she had 6 before. Objective control 1 each. They have 1. She has a bolt pistol. He does not have any ranged attack. He doesn't throw plasma grenades anymore, which is weirdly his ranged attack. Sanctity is her weapon. Anti-chaos 2 up. So if you're fighting chaos, this is significantly better. Precision, so you can snipe characters in melee with it. Skill 2, 4 attacks up to skill 2, strength 6, AP minus 2, damage 2. Not bad at all. Very solid against pretty much any kind of infantry. Outcast weapons, he gets 6 attacks, strength 4, AP minus 1 damage, which is okay. His main job is to keep her alive, anyhow. Keep strike face for as long after. Now, she no longer ignores in-wall saves, so she is no longer going to assassinate things like big-ass tower warsuits that she's way better at fighting than she is. She also still shoots her bolts of Holy Judgment, which is better against chaos. If they fail a leadership test, they take 3 mortal wounds. They're a lone operative, and they can heroically intervene for 0. So that gives them some mobility. They're moving. They're pretty mobile. I would definitely think about using Rapid Reverse on them too. They cannot lead anything. They're always lone operatives. No warrior options. They are, however, down to only 80 points as opposed to 120 before. So 33% cut. I think they're worth a look, and in particular narrative games, having her as the warlord. She's no longer, since there's no more warlord traits, she's no longer stuck with Executioner of Heretics, which was horrendous. in the last edition. Now she can just be the warlord and save the enhancements for other. So she's going to be seen at the table. So, okay. Now let's move on down. Regular old Battle Sister Squad. Okay. Not a whole lot of changes here, but this is the core of the army. This is your only battle line unit, so you can take up to 6 of these. Now, they have not changed in their basic stats up here. Well, obviously the leadership changed because it's done a different way, but it's functionally the same thing. They cart around a cherub now. The weapons haven't changed. The only real thing, the melta-gun and the multi-melt have gone up to strength 9, which may or may not be enough. Heavy bolter's a little bit better. Heavy bolter's generally got a glow up, but no big changes there. And the canonist can have a chainsword or a power weapon. Which is free now, so my canonist is not canonist, is my sister superior can use their power sword or the power maul, one that I made without worrying about points for the moment. Other sisters have close combat weapons. Oh, and you can give one of them a simulacrum, which is great because I have 6 simulacrums modeled, and now I'm not paying 5 points to take the dang things, which I wasn't at the beginning of 9th edition. Then they added 5 points and made those models worthless, but now they're useful again. So that means you gain a miracle die when you destroy an enemy too. So that's a huge, in my view, a huge benefit to taking them is that this keeping them alive and allowing them to destroy things that can turn on the miracle die tap a little bit wider. Okay. You can also gain a miracle dice from controlling objectives with them. So these guys are very, very useful for gaining miracle dice, and you can sacrifice your cherub to gain a miracle die. So that's good. Oh, and they retain the 6-up info. Okay, so you're always going to be able to save these guys. So overall, this is very strong. Now, what's a little bit of a pain is this. Now, this is good because this compensates for the fact that you can no longer, as we look down here, take 5-member throwaway squads of them for 55 points, or 60 or 65 if you decide to throw in like a storm bolter or a heavy bolter or a heavy flame or whatever. The warriors unchanged from before, all the same options, no extra points for any of them. So throw your combi weapons out there, throw your power sword equipped superior out there. Give them the heavy flamer, give them the melta gun or the flamer and the extra multi-melta. If you've got extras, just go ahead and do it. But you can't take tiny throwaway squads, so you can't easily sacrifice them to gain miracle dice. But you kind of don't have to because you can destroy units to gain them, you can gain them for the cherub, and you can control objectives with them. So I would not take less than 2 of these in any army. Now, this bears mentioning, part of the reason, my understanding, they did this, kind of turning this points into power level, is they were trying to line up the sizes of units with the number of models in the box, which in a way was good for newer people getting the game. But if you're like me and you were custom tailoring things, you may end up with some odd girls out. Right now, I think I can pretty comfortably field a squad of Dominions and then 3 of these with the available bolters, especially using the simulacrum models to fill in. Because if you have a superior or simulacrum, 2 specials or a special and heavy, then you only need 6 bolter sisters. And it's Dominions, you only need 4 bolter sisters. So you got 4 specials, your simulacrum, and your leader, and that leaves 4. But I'm not sold at all on this unit comp. Okay, moving down to the Sisters Novitate squad. Novitate Superior. Now, this is one where one of the squad leaders different. So they're both still 6-inch movement, toughness 3. The Novitate Superior is 3-up. She's power armored. They are in like baby power armor, so they're saving on 4-ups. The squad members, they have 1 worse leadership. Other than that, they're the same. Okay, a lot of the options here are for the superior. You can have a plasma pistol, or you can have a power weapon rather than a close combat weapon, or how did it go? Levitate Superior can replace it with a bolt pistol power weapon or a plasma pistol power weapon. You can give one with a Sacred Banner, one a Simulacrum Imperialis, up to 2 can have Ministorum Flamers. Any number can have their autogun and close combat weapon placed with Novitate melee. So you can't give the Novitate melee weapon to the 2 Flamers, Simulacrum, or the Sacred Banner. Right now, the way mine are configured is I have one with a Sacred Banner because you're rerolling your advances in charge. I don't have a Simulacrum because that was an extra 5 points. Now it might be a little more worth it, so I may have to reconfigure it. But the Novitate melee weapon is a little bit better because it's strength 4, so that I don't know if I want to do that. I think I probably will. I'll just find a way to reconfigure one with a Simulacrum, or maybe I'll just hold off and see what happens with the Codex. Also, they reroll all hits. They reroll ones for hit. If they're on an objective, they reroll the hit rolls. I don't understand why these guys are not battle line. I really think they should be, but I guess you don't want to have entire armies of Novitates, maybe. Not thrilled about that. I think they should be a battle line unit. Okay. Remember in the Silver Chalice, you become a Novitate if you pass all 3 of your tests, or if you survive your attempt to make up for failing a test by having been a Repentia. So you've already been through the ringer in the Silver Chalice if you were a Novitate. A lot of them are Imperial Guard veterans. They already know how to handle that autogun. And they cannot wait to get their hands on a bolt gun. They're very, very highly motivated young ladies. Okay. I don't see the point in ever using these as... I don't see the point in ever using these with autoguns. I would always take them for a melee unit. What's an autogun? Autogun's just a strength 3. Yeah, shooting. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay. I put the Palatine with them, though, and they could probably tear some stuff up in melee. Okay. Aster, Thurga, and Agathidol. Now, these guys they still look kind of horrendous. They were silly in the previous edition. They were very overcosted, didn't really do much. They're still both toughness 3. Aster Thurga is a save 2 up, so she's got somewhat better armor. 4 wounds versus 3 for Agatha. Leadership 6 and 7, respectively. Okay. Bolt pistol. There's only one. Blade of Vigil is 4 attacks, weapon skill 3, strength 5, AP minus 2, damage 2. Very, very good. Very respectable. Scribe's Staff is 3 attacks at weapon skill 4, strength 4, so nothing to write home. What this does is they do some great things for a unit. They give that unit devastating wounds in melee, and you can boost the value of Miracle Die by 1, so you can get turn 5s into 6s. 4s into 5s is still very good. 3s into 4s can be good in a lot of cases. They can really boost those units with that. Those are some very, very good boosts. And they can lead Battle Sister Squads, Celestial Sanctuary 6, Dominion Squads, or Retributor Squads. So, you can give this devastating wounds, say, to Retributor Squad with multi-meltas. And if you get through on melt-ons, you can then put a 6 on the damage roll, especially if you're in melta range, and that's an 8. Or you could put a 6 on there and auto wound with a multi-melta. That's a possibility. You can go with the Celestial Sacrosancts there and put devastating wounds on their melee. You could go with Dominion, so you have maybe Stormbolters or Flamers. Devastating wounds, or Retributors with heavy Flamers. Turn that into devastating wounds. without even worrying too much about improving the miracle dice. And you can just go with the regular Battle Sister squad and give all those bolters devastating. There's lots of possibilities. They are probably my pick for most improved unit in the new edition, and I will definitely be finally picking them up. There's a huge improvement there. Okay, next up, the Image of Fire. Okay, she was great in 8th edition. Got a lot weaker in 9th edition to the rest of the table, but is one that I like a lot, and she's kind of back now. She's lost a wound, like a lot of the characters, down only 3. Because still has a bolt pistol. She now has a bolt gun. Don't remember if she had a bolt gun before. Don't think she did. But she has one now, regardless, and she's a close combat weapon. I'm surprised her staff is a close combat weapon. Anyhow, she's a leader. She has 4 pinball deeds. If you keep her in your Miracle Cluster units, if you lose a unit, you can re-roll the Miracle die from losing the unit. So that's good. Even better, you can give the unit a 4 pinball save, or you can take Sacrosanct and boost their save to 2 up. Now they don't have their 2 up armor save anymore, so you can get that back by having her stick around nearby. Now, if you do, you want to probably have other units nearby. She should be in a whole passel of units. She should not be out there with a single unit alone and unafraid. Definitely very usable though. 40 points. Don't remember. I think it's a slight reduction from previous. Because the hospital is down to 40. Yeah, they were. I believe they were both 50 before, so that's a slight reduction. Definitely usable now. Sacrosanct or put her on regular Battle Sisters, give 4 up involved. Depending on what else you want. Now, what is also very cool is this. You can attach her to a unit, even if you already have a Canis, Palatine, or Junith or Leto attached to it. If the unit dies, they both become separate units. So that means you can put her in there with a unit that's already. You could put her even in. You can't put her in a. You can't put her in a Novitate squad. You could put her in to be user contributors and boost up boost them up to an invul, while you're also leading them, giving them hit roll with Canonus or a Palatines with the wounds. There's a lot of potential tricks with her. It's cool she can go. Now you can't put her in there along with Aster Thurg and Agatha Dole. They do not get that. So you cannot do that. But the fact that you can put her in there when there's already a leader, very solid. Okay, next up, Dialogus. Okay, again, gone down to 3 wounds. Bolt Pistol Dialogus staff is rolling chain strength 4, but no AP. But she is not there to dish out the whoop ass on her own. She allows the unit to get stratagems even when it's battle shocked, so useful. And when the model's used, each time the model performed the result of one of the miracle dice using that active phase, the first change is 6. Okay, actually, maybe you can't use 2 miracle. I might have misspoken about that earlier. You can use 2 in charges or battle shock tests. But that's another way to turn your less useful dice into something more useful. So that could mean just basically free 6s. She has a 6-up invuln. She's not as invulnerable as some of the other ones. No battle gear, no warrior options. You can put her in with almost any of the basic types of sisters. Battle Sisters, Celestial Sacrifice, Dominions, Retributors, Sisters Novitate. And she can do the same trick as the Image of Fire. She can go in when there is a Canis or Palatine there, or Junith. So that she is quite strong. Now, she was good in the previous edition. If you wanted prayer support, she was a cheaper option than Dogmata, even though she was weaker in melee. But definitely gonna be coming around. Okay, the Preacher. Now this guy's default equipped with the Zealot's Vindicator, the comedy option. saw somebody said somewhere where it's the combination chainsword or eviscerator rather and flamethrower, which is why I like to do eviscerator flamethrower in Dark Tide. But you can also give them an auto pistol if you sort of for some reason you want to. With no points differences, there's no reason to ever do that. You should always go with the Zealot's Vindicator, which is basically a Ministorm Flamer. It's no longer a Ministorm Heavy Flamer equivalent, but still Strength 5, AP 0, auto hitting, ignore cover, good. And the Vindicator is 3 attacks, weapon skills 4 plus, Strength 5, AP 1 damage 2, so not bad. Now, once per battle, he can go up to Strength 7 and 5 attacks on that. So that will give him a boost when he needs it. A lot of these ones for battles, I would use them early. Don't take the risk on losing the model without using it. So you use it almost at the first opportunity. Right, just smiting. This is +1 to wound when he's leading units. And what units can he lead? Oh, he's a fork involved too. I forgot to mention that. He's also down to 3 wounds. Arcoflagellants, Crusaders, or Sisters Novitate. So another option here to put with the Sisters Novitate, just like the missionary. So you're gonna have to decide. He's how many points is he? Yeah, I looked at this already. 45 versus 35. So preacher versus. Let's go up here and take a look at the missionary real quick. Where is that knucklehead? Here he is. Is 10 extra points worth getting sustained hits, and or rather, is 10 extra points worth it to get +1 to wound versus sustained hits? It's a tough call. Very tough call. I'm not sure why this guy can't go with Repentia. Probably because it'd be too good. Okay, so let's just sacrosanct. Here's your tanky units. Your we wish we were Blade Guard veterans, ladies. Okay. Still have bolt pistols. Let's go. You can take an Inferno pistol, which again is down to D3 damage now and does not go up to strength 9. You give her a Mr. Hand Flamer, strength 4 Flamer, so that's not bad. Or you give her the Plasma pistol. The Hand Flamer may actually be the play here without any points on it. Over the Plasma pistol. I think that's the way I'm going to be going is Hand Flamer on the Superior. They can still have the Halberds, which are strength 2 attacks. At strength 5 AP minus 2 damage 1. Or you can have the Halberd Maces, which are 2 attacks, strength 4, AP minus 1 damage 2. So inferior performance, but better damage on the mace versus superior chance of getting through but less damage on the halberd. I think halberds are still probably the way to go a lot of the time. And then you have the Spear of the Faithful, which is the halberd with the basis damage. You can put that on the squad leader. You are also at -1 to wound them while they are led with a Canonist, Palatine, or Judith. So you'd always have a leader, a Canonist, Palatine, or Judith with them. Now, probably within a Magifier or a Hospitaller. That's going to make them tough. So they could be at a 2-up save and -1 to wound them. A lot of stuff's going to wound them on 3s because they're only toughness 3, but you can take, or going to wound them on 2s even. You can make that 3s and 4s as long as they have a leader. Okay. Only real options are the Spear for the squad leader and the Ministorm Hand Flamer. And of course, you can pick Maces or Halberds, and you can mix them in the squad. Now, these are a squad you can pick either 4 or 9 of them. I mean, technically, you can pick any number in between, but you pay the points for 9. And they are, let's see, Sacrosanct, 65 or 130. You can always pick that. Yeah, that's a lot. 60. They're 13 times 5. Is that right? Yeah, 13 points a model, but you're 65 or 130. That's where you're at with them. Okay. I think they're still showing off my Python programming stuff there. My secret Python information. Just kidding. Or thinking they're not going to be that effective, but I think they're still probably your only real option for center table holding. I would ideally like to go up to 2 units of these each leg with a canonus and with some kind of buff. Also, just shove all that into the center. Okay, now next up, the hospital are highly pertinent to the sacrosancts. She's down to 3 wounds. She is a 6-up invuln, like the Dialogus. Remember that the Hospitaller and Dialogus are both technically not battle sisters. They are Adepta Sororitas, but they are not battle sisters. They're not from the Orders Malta. They're from other orders, and they are seconded to the Orders Malta, the battle sisters. So they do get the power armor. It's a little like the way Navy medics get seconded to the Marine Corps, because the Marine Corps doesn't have its own medical corps. It gets Navy medics. Weirdly, it has its own lawyers, but not its own medics. But anyhow, she's still got the bolt pistol, of course, and the Arturian's tools. 3 attacks, weapon skill 4, strength 3, AP 0. Very, very unimpressive, but again, that's not her role. She's now, I think we said she was 40 points. Yes, 40. She gives a 5-up feel no pain, so that's an optional with the humidifier for keeping the sacrosancts alive. And she can heal a character up to 3 levels. So you could take down, what you could do is this. If you're ballsy, what you can do is take a Canamus or a Palatine with the Mantle of Ophelia, put them leading a squad with her, let them tank the wounds, and then she just keeps healing them back up. Assuming you're not getting an absolute torrent of fire that just chews through them, this is a potentially quite useful. You cannot do this to, interestingly, you cannot do this to, well, she is not infantry, but you can do it to Junith, who is infantry and has 6 wounds. All times 3 wounds. Okay, or you can do it to Celestine because she's an infantry character also. So yes, you can in fact do that. You can heal Junith or Celestine with the Hospitaller, and she can go with the Battle Sister Squad, Celestial Sager 6 Dominions, or Tributor Sisters Novitate. I think most of the time, now it's cute to do it to Celestine if she's nearby and really make her a pain in the butt to deal with. But I think the play is to put her with a Palatine or a Canonus leading the Sacrosancts and giving them -1 to move and the final feeling of pain. I think that makes them significantly tougher to remove than the other one would be. That's very clearly the play. I don't know why you would do anything else with her. Okay, next up, the Dogmata. Now, Dogmata, and once again, I don't care for having done the most damage to the sisters with those by appearing and being the one sister who all the other ones can't stand because she runs and tattles on them, which is kind of dumb. But she's getting down to 3 wounds. She's a bolt pistol. She has the Mace of the Righteous, 4 attacks, weapon skill 3, strength 5, AP 1 damage 2. So she can pop a Marine with that. Probably would kill about 1 Marine per fight, I would think. I haven't done the math. Executioner of Heretics. Okay, this was terrible. This is a terrible Warlord trait in the previous edition. What does it do now? -1 to battle shock decks. Oh, nice to have, but not super duper. And adds 1 to objective control characters whose models in the unit. And she's on a 6-up invuln for some reason. I don't know why. So a lot of the other actual, she is not. She's not like the Hospitaller or the Dialoga. She is an actual battle sister, so I don't know why she's on the 6-up invuln. I guess because she was never the type that had a 4-up invuln, but either way, but it's fine. She wasn't worth it. Now, what are her points like? 50 points. Now, she is definitely more formidable in melee than the other characters, but she's not doing a lot here. More objective control and battle shock penalty, and she boosts up. Now, who can she can lead? Now she can do the same trick. She can go with these same squads. Now I would not put her with. She can't go with Sisters Novitate. They probably don't want her anywhere near the Novitates because they'll all end up as Repentia. She's not near them. I would probably not put her with Sacrosancts. You want them led by a Canoness, and you probably want one of the durability buff characters with them. I would put her with a regular Battle Sister squad if you're going to take her. Boosting that objective control could be handy. That could allow them to hang on to objective, even to very low squad numbers, because the Battle Sisters have objective control too. So I think that's the play with her if you're going to take her. But I think she has really suffered. Without her prayer ability that she used to have, she's nowhere near as good as she used to be. And she's 10 points more than the Hospital Art or the Image of Fire. So I think the Dogmata is going to be spending a lot of time on the shelf this edition. We looked at the Paragon War suits already, which are getting down here pretty far now. Repentia. Okay, another big change here. The Repentia Superior is no longer an independent character who you take separately, which is great if you are wanting to actually use that model, and terrible if you already converted a bunch of your Repentia Superiors into other models, thinking, hey, this is a way to get a free Canoness without spending more money on another model. Because guess what? Now you need one to lead every squad. This is probably the prime example of where Games Workshop's, let's make everything match the box sizes strategy really backfired on players who are not newly joining the game. Really, I hope that I think this is going to remain the case in the Codex. I think part of the problem is it never made sense for the Repentia Superior to be completely a separate character from their Repentia. She was a 4-wound character who didn't really do anything except hand out a buff to them, and it was a buff that was a pain in the ass to use because you had to hand it out because you needed to bring them out of a transport, bring them out of deep strike, and there was really no way to get the buff out there unless it was their second charge, and they almost never got a second charge. And she was just basically a crappy melee character without them. She still has her bolt pistol. She still has the Neural Whips, the infantry 4-ups. And she did get a bit of a boost in melee, even though she's now a 1-wound dork. I think she should probably at least be 2 wounds, but because she traditionally was a higher ranking sister, not a regular one. But she's a superior. She's not anything better, so that one's fine. Whatever. I'm not going to complain about it too much. They're only strength 3 AP, but they are AP -1. That helps. And with the anti-infantry plus 4-up, 4 attacks. So she is contributing a little bit there. And the Eviscerators are 2 attacks, weapon skill 4. So they are still hitting on 4s because of the -1, because they're huge, unwieldy, ridiculous chainswords. Strength 6, AP -2, damage 2. So the stats here have not changed, actually. Now, without any bloody rows, though, how are they? They're feeling no pain 5-up. And if you charged, okay, you can reroll the wound roll, and you can always reroll the hit rolls. So that means, practically speaking, if you're rerolling all your hits and you're hitting half the time, that means you're going to hit 75% of the time. So on a full squad of 9 of them, it's 18. 75% of that is about 13 hits. Now, how often you're going to wound? Well, that's going to depend on a lot more factors, but you can count on a full-size squad inflicting 13 hits or so every time. Not a bad start. They retain their pinhole, and they have, of course, 5 feel no pain. So, again, I think this makes a lot more sense to have the Superior doing this, but it is very, very annoying that they change that, because now if you don't have that second Superior model, you're a little bit dorked. Maybe the Dogmata would like to masquerade as a Repentia Superior, although she doesn't have a whip or a book. So we'll have to see. Okay. Now, nothing I think we've seen so far can lead them either. So that is a big weakness for them. They cannot really have leaders other than the Superior herself. Now, she does buff them very nicely, but they are not leadable. So you rely on auras and their own native abilities. And what do their points look like? Squad 5 models or 10 models. Now, remember that the Superior is one of those models. So they're at 15 points per model, comparable to last time. Without the access to Bloody Rose, giving them an extra attack and extra AP, I don't know that they're the essential target elimination tool that they used to be. Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to probably be playing one squad at a time because I only have one Superior. So now I have 9 orphaned Repentia models. So we're going to have to wait and see on them a little bit. But I would not count them out either. I still think their offensive profile is probably the best of any we've ever seen based on the numbers. Don't know that you would ever play them anything other than Access Squad, though. Okay, Crusaders. Not really any change here. They were save 3 up, save 4 wounds 1. Power weapon with 2 attacks, standard power weapon profile. They also get a feel no pain 4 up against mortals if they like to pick up a little squad of these. What's their Crusaders? 2, 4, or 6. They always come in pairs. I'd like to pick up a couple blisters of them. I can see where their toughness could certainly come in handy. And 60 points compared to 65 points for 5 Celestial Sacrosancts. And the 10 points per model versus 13, I can see useful. Maybe not the center brick, but holding a side objective somewhere, going out there and making their way to it under fire, I can see that happening. All right. No roll. Death Cult Assassins, Power Blades, standard power weapons of 4 attacks. They do have Fight First. That's very handy. I have 2 of these. I need to get them painted up. They rule wounds of 1 against characters. And what's their point cost? 35, 70, or 105. I think these guys are pretty badly overcosted. Don't see them seeing the table anytime soon. You can't lead them with anything. Movement 7. I don't have Deep Strike. I don't have a Scout move. Fights First is good, but I don't. They're very much on the back burner as far as I'm concerned. Not impressed. Okay, Dominion Squad. Okay. These guys are basically the same as Battle Sisters on their top line. They do get a 6-inch Scout move, just like they always did. They can regain, just like Battle Sisters, they can regain a Miracle Die once per battle with a Cherub. You can reroll their advances. That makes them a little more fast attacky than they used to be. I think they probably should have had that in the previous editions. They were fast attack only because of that Scout. It was how they were fast attack was not very clear. And you can give them a Simulacrum, which is nice because that's one less bolter system model I have to put in there. They still have the Storm Bolters, Rapid Fire 2 and Assault. That's potentially useful. Along with, I think it's the Triumph. They all obviously carry bolt pistols. The non-special weapon ones have bolt guns. Melta guns, they can take those, which are now strength 9. They are assault, which is very handy, actually. I think the Melta guns may actually be more useful as heavy infantry, like super heavy infantry. Things like Terminators, potentially handy there. Or you can do Flamers. Now remember, the Flamers, if you're doing the Flamers, any kind of lethal hits buff you give them is wasted because you're not rolling to hit. So be careful you're not accidentally assigning them a buff character who isn't going to help them if you give them the Flamers. But I think the Flamers are strong. No more Ebon Chalice stratagem to make the Flamers do mortal wounds, and no more Blessed Bolts to make the Stormbolters do mortal wounds, but there are ways to give them devastating wounds on rapid fire. I think that's the Triumph does that. And the traditional upgrades available for the Superior. Doesn't list all the profiles up here, but she can carry around all the usual, the combi weapon, the Condemner bolt gun, all the rest of this bullshit that they can always carry. These guys are locked to 10 models, just like Battle Sisters. That's because they came out of the same box. I'm probably going to still be using them. Most likely with Meltas or with Stormbolters, maybe less often with Flamers. Whereas before it would have been mostly Stormbolters and Flamers and less often with Melta guns. I think that reroll advances along with Melta Assault, that there's some potential threat range. There's 12-inch range. If you can average 6-inch and then maybe advance, that's 12-inch. That's a 24-inch threat range to shoot something with Melta. So I can definitely see that, and a 36-inch threat range for the Stormbolters. These are a one at a time kind of unit, though, I think. But overall, I'd say they're solid. Definitely solid. Seraphim. Okay. Okay. 12-inch move, toughness 3. No real changes in the top line. The weapons are not changed. Now, upshot of this, I still think the play is not to give the superior melee weapon of any kind. Give her the other bolt pistol and the plasma pistol. Also, the infernal pistols. Unless you use rapid ingress with these guys, I don't think Inferno pistols are the right play. It's still hand flamers and bolt pistols because of the 6-inch range. And the Inferno pistol is now, it does still have the AP -4, which is very nice, but it's been weakened further. So I'm not going to be using the Inferno pistols anytime soon. They do have the 5-up invuln. They retain that, and now they can make a normal of 6 after they have shot. If they're not in engagement range, which is great because you can bring them in, shoot, and then dart them behind cover. So that's a really, really good option. You can either take them in squads of 4, squads of 9. That kind of jacks up my plans there. No real changes to the warrior options. We're going to have to wait. These ones I think the jury's very much out on. The jury is very out for them on them for me. I don't know if they're going to be worth it or not. 70 points. They're a little bit. They're another point over Sacrosancts. They're very mobile, very handy. I can see uses for them, but I don't know that they're bringing what they need to bring. You can get Zephyrin at the same price. Speaking of Zephyrin, no changes here. Either same top line as the Seraphim. Bolt pistols. Again, the squad leader have a plasma pistol, and right now, I mean, why not? Power weapon. Now they no longer get. They still get reroll advance. Now they reroll advance and charge with the Bears unit. They get +1 to strength on the charge. Now I do not remember. I'm not clear on if this pertains. So if Celestine is leading them, does she get +1 to strength? I don't believe she does. But if she does, that would be awesome. Either way, they're going to be power weapons are going to be going up to strength 5 on the charge, and that's great because that's going to make it much easier to deal with a lot of heavy infantry targets. So I think these are definitely a superior choice over the Seraphim right now. And if you do in a large squad, they're a great substitute for, or a great additional bodyguard for Celestine for using her. Okay, moving on. The Retributor Squad. Oh gosh, the bane of so many armies. It's kind of my bane because these guys a lot of times would just not quite get there. Mostly against land fortresses, leaving the damn thing on 2 wounds or something like that, and then all the rolls would go its way, and it'd still be alive on 1 or 2 wounds, even after the cherub. Okay, no changes to the top line really or the weapons. Now, you can no longer take a simulacrum because these guys are locked to units of 5. So that is a change. The superior, though, no change to the war gear. Default, they're equipped with heavy bolters, but you can give them multi-meltas or Storm Heavy Flamers. Now, note a couple things. One, the multi-meltas range is now only 18 inches. This I don't think is a serious problem. I'm fine with giving up 6 inches of range in order to get strength 9. That's good. Heavy bolters are somewhat better. I think heavy bolters are worth a look in this edition compared to the old one. Heavy flamers are maybe interesting. I think it'd be more interesting if we had weapon differentiated point costs. But right now, I think the order of choice is still multi-melta first, heavy bolter second. Ministorm Heavy Flamers probably your last choice. I think Ministorm Heavy Flamers probably go in the regular Battle Sister squads. They get 2 cherubs for free. So you can they no longer get the Armorium cherub, but you can double up on getting a miracle die from them after they've performed an act of faith. So that's very handy. If you don't have all your cherubs assembled, you could run around out of cherubs here real quick. Each time a model in this unit makes a range attack reroll. So rerolling rolls 1. Now this is very, very helpful for the multi-melta because a lot of its choice targets it is now wounding on 5s. And the ones that it isn't, it's often wounding on 4s. It's not wounding a lot on 3s anymore against its heavier targets. So that is pretty great because that means you are now wounding on, let's take a look here real quick. Okay, if you will fail, okay, if you're wounding on a 5, that means you're failing 2/3 of the time. However, on a reroll, that 2/3, so how many 6 is that? 5? Well, we'll take it out to 6 digits. 7. Okay, what times 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equals, okay, that's how often you're going to succeed on the reroll, but plus the success on the original roll. Oops. You're going to succeed about 55% of the time when you're re-rolling your wound roll if you're winning on a 5. If you're winning on a 4, you're going to succeed 75% of the time. That one's easy. You don't need a calculator to figure that out. That makes the multi-melta significantly better than it was. And there's almost nothing you're not going to win. I don't think there's anything you're going to win on 6 unless it's inflicting a -1 to wound on you. And even then, re-rolling still means you're likely to get 1 through. And at AP -4, they're hard to save against. I think the multi-meltas are the play. Bring them in from deep strike. You don't necessarily need to use rapid ingress with them because they're shooting. They're not trying to get into melee. So you can just drop them in where you need them at 14 or 15 inches out, and they can still hit just fine. Okay, mortifiers. I do not own any of these. I may get some. Silver Chalice are not big on punishments with mortifiers, but they may use it in extreme cases, so probably 1 unit of these would be handy. No real changes over here. You are definitely going to want the paired ones because that's how you get your twin linked. I'm not sure which one I would go with if I was going to use them. 8 attacks, half the strength, AP -1. Strength 10. I'd probably reroll 10. I'd probably take 1 of each. I'm sure somebody will tell me that's wrong. I'm not too inclined to work out all the math on that. I know you guys a couple of math videos. Okay. Each time the unit makes a charge move, okay, they have the Feel No Pain. They still have Feel No Pain 5 up on the whole thing now. And the leader has a save of 3 up, rather than 4 up. They have involved 6 up. Anguish the Unredeemed. When they charge, they get sustained hits. Okay, pretty good. 2 heavy bolters, and they default come with buzz blades. You can have one heavy bolter and one flamer if you want, or two flamers. I think you'd probably stick with the heavy bolters, especially with the better stats now. I would always take the twin linked, either twin pendant flails or the twin buzz blades. How are the points on these? 160 points each. They're toughness 6, 5 wounds, so they're a little bit tougher to kill than the war suits. Yeah, probably potentially useful, and you can get them in. Where'd they go now? Okay, you can take them in ones or twos. Okay, since they come in 2 to the box. Pennant engines, another unit. These ones, the Silver Chest would absolutely not have. They are not about to drag the Ministorum's rejects around with them. They'll take their own rejects, but not anybody else's. These ones are definitely have flamers, buzz blades, or flails, or a combo. They don't get extra attacks, so I don't see the point in ever taking one or the other. I don't see the point in not having the twin linked. These can advance and charge. That's very handy. Toughness 6 wounds 5, 8, 6, 5. 4 up save. These don't have any additional durability buff. They don't have the feel no pain. Oh yeah, they do have the feel no pain, but they don't have the. They do not have the 6 up interval. Okay. And how do they compare points wise? Same points. So I don't know. Mox nicks between these ones and the mortifiers. I'd probably take the mortifiers just before the heavy bolters. This would be the play. Okay, Exorcist. This is a unit that is definitely more worthwhile now. And you get me probably at least 2 of these, maybe 3 or 4, because this is a transport. But I don't want to spend that kind of money right now. I want 2 to start off. We'll see how it goes. So they do have 2 rhinos. Probably 2 is appropriate. Toughness 10. It's 10-inch move. Toughness 10. Wounds 11. So that's firmly in the mid-range tank ones. It's not tough like a Land Raider, but what do we got? Conflagration rockets or launcher. You still have to pick one before the battle. You cannot have, or you have to pick when you build the army list, I should say. You can still give it the Hunter Killer Missile. Okay. I think the missile launcher is the play here. It's still D6 plus 2 attacks, plus 6 skill for strength 5, AP minus 2 damage, D6. Indirect fire. Yeah, that's fantastic. These did go up to 170 points, so they are not inexpensive, but I think worth it. I definitely think worth it. Plus, they get a heavy bolter on top of that. The heavy bolter is better, and the Hunter Killer Missile, which now hits on 2 up. Which, in my view, the Hunter Killer should be an auto hit weapon. Should be considered torrent, but that's nevertheless, I'll take the 2 up. It's better than before, where it was a 3 up. It was 5 extra point. That sucked. It improves leadership by 6, so that's very handy for keeping your. Now you can split squads with this thing. I think maybe if you split the squads, that's a way you can get the 5-man throwaway, or 5-girl rather, throwaway squad for the points. But I need to do lures. I believe that they count as separate units once they have been split, and that then you can, if you say put all your, suppose you have regular sisters, you put all 5 your bolters in one little group, use the 5 of bolters, and boom, you got your miracle die, and you still have the part with all the good stuff somewhere else. I think that is a way you can do that with the Exorcist. It's basically a combat squadron. But these are definitely a win. Oh, of note. Oh wait, no, we're not up to that yet. I was about to call your attention to the wrong thing. Oh, the 48-inch Hunter Killer is the longest range weapon in the arsenal. The other thing with these things, 36-inch range. Everything in the Sisters Army, pretty much, except for Morphin Ball and a few other things, is 24 inches or shorter. So there's that too. That's threat range right there. Okay, Castigator. More threat range here. Toughness 10, wounds 11, so same profile as the Exorcist. The autocannons are default twin linked rapid fire 4. So then Within 24 inches, you get 8 shots at ballistic skill 3 up, strength 9, AP minus 1, damage 3. And the regular battle cannon is D6 plus 3 blast and ignores cover. 3 strength 10, AP minus 1, damage 3. Kind of not crazy about the fact that the big main gun is only AP minus 1. It offends me a little bit. That should be like a Sabo around there. I would rather not have blast and be like AP minus 3 or AP minus 4. But be that as it may, still not bad. You're going to be punching through some hits most of the time because you're going to get most of the time 6 or 7 shots. Or in worst case 4, but most of the time you get more than that. 3 heavy bolters, which are now glowed up. That's very nice. Hunter killer missile, and of course it has a storm bolter. Now, what else can this thing do? You can reroll hits against infantry with the autocannons. You can reroll hits against monsters or vehicles with the battle cannon. And then you can force that target to take a battle shot test, even if it was not the appropriate type here to get the hit reroll. So that's pretty good. You can put a little battle shock on them. And I have to say, I really like the cast gear because it actually looks like a proper tank. It's lower in profile. The turret is not some gargantuan monstrosity. It looks like they've made some effort to slope the armor. It has sponsons and a bow gun, which went out in real life because those represent holes in the armor. But nevertheless, the single big gun tank there, that's why you see the machine guns on the top of the tank. The storm bolter on top, that's appropriate. You're going to have holes in the top because you have to have hatches, and it's not possible to make the armor on top of the tank nearly as thick as you can on the front. Anyhow, tank school side. That's what's going on there with the cast gear. Now, if I get a second one, it's going to have the twin autocannon, so I can have two. But I think a second one is probably coming here at some point to have one with the autocannons, because I think they're significantly better. Look at these ranges over here. 48 inches heavy bolter. This is a long shooter. This is your best long shooter there is. It's got 4 long guns, and then you can add the storm bolter. 5 if you count the Hunter killer missile, and then the storm bolter adds a little more than 24 inches. So very good stuff. And not hard. Both of these have a 6-up invuln save, too. So that's nice to have a vehicle with an invuln save. I think real winners here. Exorcist at 170. Castigator's at 150. Castigator, I think, is the right. I think the Exorcist probably they went about 5 points too much on it. I would probably maybe 165, but I'm not going to quibble too much. Castigator at 150. I'll take it. I'm not going to quibble as yet. I would not complain about a 5 to 10 point cut on the Castigator, but I don't think it's overcosted at 150. This is bringing a lot of goodies to the table. I'm very, very much considering an armored list with two immolators, 2 rhinos, 2 castigators, 2 exorcists, and then Valen and a squad of suits. And whatever else. Okay, the rhino. Very little to say here. It's 1 less wound than the other ones, 1 less toughness. It is a little bit faster. These are 10 inches. The rhino is 12. The rhino also regains 1 wound. Self-repair, which is that's pretty cool. You can have your Hunter killer missile. I like that because I have the missile tube up here. It makes it look like an M113 ITV a little bit, or one of the old box APCs that just had a tow missile launcher in it. Other than that, you have the storm bolter, armored tracks. Not much to say here, except that now you can carry up to 12 models in it. So that means a full squad of Battle Sisters or Sacrosaints with a leader. With 2 leaders. If you decide to put one of those, I can go along even though they already have a cannon as leaders. So very, very handy. The Rhino remains a solid performer. What do they cost? Rhino is PQR. Why is there not? Where's the Rhino? Oh, Sororitas, right? It's in the S's, of course. Still 80 points, just like it was before. Yeah, still a solid performer. My 2 Rhinos will be seeing use. Immolators. Okay. Now, 12 inches, toughness 10, wounds 11. So this is the best of both worlds up here. It's got the speed of the Rhino with the toughness of 10, wounds 11. It does not regenerate wounds like the Rhino does. You can give it heavy bolter. Oh, well, it has the bow heavy bolter. You can give it the twin linked heavy bolters on the top or twin link multi-meltus. But I think the play with this is the immolation flamers, because these are not twin linked. These get the 2d6 shots at the heavy flamer profile. But look at this, 18-inch range, so 50% more range on a torrent flame weapon. An 18-inch torrent flame weapon. That's awesome. That is fantastic. I'm definitely going to be using immolation flamers on mine. I think flame is the way to go with this guy, or this girl. This is a winner. I'm going to be probably getting 2 of these, maybe even 3. Not sure yet, but also they do fire support like the Falcon does now for the Eldari. When you do is you shoot this thing first in the shooting phase, and then anything else that shoots at that same unit, that's then it can reroll wounds. Now that might be an argument for the heavy bolters because of the range to get that ability out there. So there may be an argument for the heavy bolters. I don't think the multi-meltus twin link. I wouldn't. You're still only getting 2 shots. That's like one more model in our tribute squad. I wouldn't do it. I think these 2 are the play. Immolation flamers first, heavy bolters a distant second, and multi-meltas are not worth it. If they're between like if it was 2 multi-meltas and you got 4 shots, I would take that over the twin linked. But I would definitely take it then. But I don't think it's worth it with 2 shots. Okay. Now, what number of models possible is possible? Okay, these are stored within another transporter deployed as a separate unit. So it does count as a separate unit. It's split into 2 units. So that is one way to get the El Cheapo sacrificial unit, is to take a Dominion squad or a sister squad, or a Sisters Novitate squad, and split it up, and then when they go down, you get your sisters. Well, that'd be a 55-point squad, so you can do that and lose your 5 bolter girls, gain your miracle die if you want to. Novitates, you could do it with them, and then lose 45 points. You can't do it with Repentia. It does not have Repentia. You can do it with Dominions. That's a little more expensive. Dominions 130, so that's 13 points per model. So that's going to be 65. Maybe not the best choice. Maybe put them in the Rhinos and put the regular Battle Sisters in the Immolators. That is one thing you can do that with them that makes them very, very handy. Is you can have your good squads and your not so good squads. Sacrifice the not so good and get your miracle dice. If you want to do that, I don't. I mean, you kind of have to, because you can't get a whole squad in there. You can put these aren't the only things you can put in there. You can put Repentia in there if you only had 5 of them. You cannot transport the Triad Steve, which is weird because that's supposed to be 6 sisters, but okay. You can't put Celestine in there either. Technically, you can put Judith in there, I think, though. You can put Retributors in there. You can do that too. So you don't have to split a squad. You can put Retributors in there and not have to split. Arcoflagellants, 7-inch move, toughness 3, saves at wounds 2. So again, slightly more durable, a little less effective than I think than Retributors still. Reroll wounds. They still get the attack 6 and hazardous with the extremis trigger word. They have a 4-up feeling of pain. That's it. They don't have any other effective armor. I still think these are inferior to Repentia, which is good because they are off limits for the Silver Chalice who do not use them. I don't think you're going to use them very much. I do see where if you had a full squad, 6 times it's 60 attacks. for sheer volume, could be pretty brutal. But I don't. What's the points cost? They are cheap. Are they cheaper than Repentia? No, they're not. They're the same cost per model, so I don't think they're worth it. It's going to be staying away from them still. And we're down to the armory. No surprises here. All right. Well, that's everything in the index. Points hikes. We just took the 1 point hike for the uh, Exorcist because of the indirect, which I understand that. Indirect, is probably ridiculously frustrating to play. I haven't played against a whole lot of it, but it's supposed to be ridiculously frustrating to play against. I see no reason to disbelieve that. Um, but I think the sisters are in a solid place. I do think they're going to require some tuning in a few places. Um, I think that the way to play them right now actually is going to be leaning on vehicles. I think the castigators and the exorcists are going to be important. Immolators are probably pretty important. Um, rhinos are always solid, maybe a little less important, but still solid. And basic squads. I don't know that Morgan Val with the now that you basically need to take her along with warsuits. I don't know about that. Just don't know yet. I'm gonna have to try it out, see where it leads me. But my gut instinct is that Celestine is going to kind of overtake her as the go-to special character. I don't see it being Ephraim Stern. She's cute, she's nice to have, but she's not as brutally effective. I am, however, glad to see that the Battle Sisters basic squad is going to be, I think, a pretty integral part of the army. I like to see that. I don't want to see. One thing I don't want to see is armies where the unit that's really supposed to be the bulk of the army is something you never see, or is like just basically attacks. So, kind of glad to see them maybe making a return. Uh, anyhow, that's pretty much about the sisters. We'll be taking another close look at them in a little bit when we start getting a balance patch, and of course, definitely when there's a codex. Keep a close eye on them and keep you up to date on how they are doing, as they are still my top priority army. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment down below. Click the notifications bell for more great content from Sword Gaming, and we'll see you back here again very soon. Bye.